Alright, so this might be kind of weird, but I spoke with some guys about this particular model. It's called the Buddy L Rattler. It's from 1994. Personally myself, the only videos I can find on it are from the commercial or somebody using it in their driveway, and I want to update this with the correct updated steering servo, you know, get rid of the old circuit board and put in the ESC, so I'll have proportional steering and everything. Believe it or not, even all the wheels drive. It's actually only run off of one motor, which was to my surprise when I took it apart. And let me tell you right now, this thing is crazy intricate, and it is very frustrating to learn how to take it apart. But once I got the hang of it, I spoke with the gentleman actually who invented this on some forums, and he gave me a lot of pointers to how to take it apart. But I figured if you could just bear with me, you know, I could go through a little bit of how to disassemble it and whatnot, because it was so frustrating. I've never made a video like this, so it is what it is. And I'm in my car at work, so yeah. If a customer comes, I'll have to cut and splice the video. So okay, so first of all, if you're going to disassemble it, obviously you take out all the body screws, different body screws all the way across, just like you would in a normal old vehicle. Once you do that, this happens. You try to lift it apart, and it's actually stuck inside of the wheel. It will not come out. In good freaking luck getting these wheels off, because they're extremely difficult. I still don't understand how they come off, or how they're held on. There's some weird plastic clips in there. You can't see it, but I'll show you better once I get these off. I'll show you how I got them off. So the first thing you're going to do to actually separate the Rattler, since you have to have every piece off individually because they're actually held at these joints right here, you can't get this one off without getting this one off, and you can't get this one off unless you know how to take it off. So let me just show you. I just wanted to show you how they were held on there. But as far as taking them off, what I found was the easiest way was to pull back the tires a little bit. Is this one already pulled back? Yeah. So you pull back the tire just a little bit. It gives you a little bit more room because it does hang over, and every little centimeter counts. This thing is so tightly made. And what you're going to want to do, I'm trying to do this with one hand, is tilt it at an angle, pull it back inside this hub right here, this wheel, and you can pull it kind of flexes a little bit, and that's how you get it out. So you'll pull it and then just push it to separate, and it'll pop right out. That's probably not the correct way to do it. Once again, I don't know how to take the wheels off. So and then you'll be able to slide it out, put it over there. And this thing's crazy. It's all, if you know what worm gears are, I've never seen any older vehicle like this. It was completely ahead of its time. It's amazing, and that's why I love it. But so once you have that body piece taken off, you can do the same thing with the other side, and they will be connected right here with your like U-joint. So it'll be connected with this guy. Every single, you know, drive shaft will be connected, and they just slide on and off. So, and they're all the same size and everything. You can't get them backwards. This whole thing is pretty proprietary. The main shaft is, I do believe, the biggest, if not the same size as the rear, and the front is the smallest, and the two that are in the center, not the center of the vehicle, but the center of, you know, of the other pieces or compartments, they're the same size to help with balance and stabilize as you drive. At least that's what the guy Paul said. But yeah, you gotta get these certain pieces off at a time, or else the other ones are going to be locked in place. So these wheels, I already pulled these ones back, so I'll be able to show you. Remember, just separate it right here, pops right on out. Doesn't do any damage. And the axles, yeah, they are held in. These little brass bushings. There's another, I believe it's I would call it a U-joint the way it's connected, you know, but I may be wrong. Look at that. That is amazing. From 1994, tiny bit of rust, but look how clean those gears are. That is just, that's superb. And then these guys will just pop right out once you take those out. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention. So the wheels, you won't be able to get them out as well. You have to do the same trick. Just rotate the part that you pull back towards the bottom, and then you'll be able to slide over the actual wheel. Sorry, doing this with one hand is a little bit difficult. There we go. And then it'll just come right out, which is just awesome. I'll loop all this up and clean it and everything before I put it back together. Try to make it just how it was from the factory. And as far as the motor, I already took out all of the axles and wheels, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave the motor compartment in because just there's a lot going on as far as gears. I would almost call that a drop box, is what really big trucks have to connect drive shafts when they're different heights from the front and back when they have really big lift kits. It looks like I would kind of call that a drop box, you know, the gears dropping down and it connects to the motor, which is just underneath this guy, that one motor. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that intact. All the wires are going through the center hard plastic, so these other wires are just for looks. Let's go to the servo, because that's the main guy. It's gonna be just a pain in my butt from the looks of it, but once you get that off, let's see if I can show you here. This was the servo that's connected, or I'm sorry, the steering arm that was connected to the servo. It's actually square, so I couldn't find anything available to go onto a modern servo. So I'm just going to use a 23 tooth. It's just a Spectrum. I don't know if it's going to be strong enough because this thing is pretty heavy, but it only turns the front, so I don't know. I just hope it's strong enough. So as far as this old servo, you can take a look in here. It looks like, I might be wrong, but I'm just gonna assume this is how it's set up because there's so many wires that, you know, you got one here, which is gonna be like, just for an example, forward, back, this will be right, and then the gray one will be left. So you got 3 connectors down there. And I'm gonna cut them away far enough to where if anything happens, God forbid, I'll be able to use it again. And then you got your white and blue, which is gonna be your power and ground more than likely. So basically I'm just gonna I'm gonna cut these wires. I'm also gonna cut my servo wires around here somewhere, and then I'm gonna just take 3 of these wires and connect them and solder them to my steering servo wires, since it's already ran all the way through the vehicle, which would be a complete nightmare to do again. I don't even want to fathom doing that. And then I'll be able to solder my connector on the other end over there to go to my ESC. So tons of room in here too. If you take a look, I think it's gonna work out quite nicely. The steering servo goes here, and then the steering arm was on here, and then there was a little rod that was connected to, you know, the steering arm, and it went to this compartment right here. Sorry, forgive me for my camera. Like I said, one hand. And it was connected right here through this piece. So when it turned the whole body. Just because the front was pushing, it turned the rest of the body in. That's how it works. And these, the motor, as far as the motor, back here, you can see obviously the power wires are connected down in here, runs down to the board, which is over here. The power wires are right here for the motor. I'm gonna snip those and then weld them. I keep saying that, but solder, sorry. I welded at the shipyard for a while. I'm gonna solder them to my ESC. It doesn't really matter which way they go. If they're backwards, I can just you know, flip it on my transmitter or whatever. Only other things I'm gonna use, this is just gonna get tossed, you know. You got your plugs for your battery. You know, I'm gonna keep that as well. Maybe I'll probably just end up using the one off the ESC, but I'm gonna run it through there after I'll probably Dremel that out. I'll more than likely reuse the power switch as well, because that's super easy. Just cut it and solder it, and cut the other one off the ESC. But yeah, don't let this intimidate you, all these wires, because once this is out of here, it's going to be extremely simplified. You're going to have wires hanging here, over there, but it's not really going to matter because the ESC only has so many wires to hook up. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I got a lot of work to do. I'll try to update you as I go. I'm not going to be able to do this and record at the same time, unfortunately, because I'm at work and whatnot, and I don't have a lot of workspace in my car. But like I said, first video I've ever made of doing RC stuff. I've been doing it for a while, but I just found it interesting that this vehicle particularly was extremely hard. I'm talking almost impossible to get any information on. And then I ended up finding the guy that freaking made this thing, which was pretty astounding to me. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I've also done, I don't know if I mentioned the Radio Shack Porsche GT1. I converted that all over to ESC, proportional steering, everything. So I can make another video about that later, how I did it. But yeah, I'm gonna test it basically. I'm just gonna hook everything up, make sure my steering servo works, you know, make sure I already powered it on before it works. I just didn't have a remote, so I said screw it, because I can't find one. So this is why I'm even doing this. So yeah, once I hook everything up, I will make a part 2. Thanks for checking it out. Hopefully I can give you a little bit of information on the Rattler. If I'm wrong about any of this stuff, please feel free to let me know, because I'm still kind of in the dark about this particular vehicle, which is very ahead of its time. It's kind of complicated, but these worm gears are just awesome. What a great design, man. All right, thanks, bye.